human or robot, right? Which one do I want? Because this one will satisfy me more.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!
Last time we were on, we finished off talking about the biodefense of certain fruit and vegetables.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that your son can't eat pineapple because he feels like pins and needles.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting because, knock on wood, I have never had an allergy to any food. Mm-hmm. And being chefs, that's quite like, thank you. I've worked with chefs that like can't eat shrimp or whatever. And I can eat everything. A few years ago, let's call it 5 or 6 years ago, I noticed, because I used to have a bowl of like watermelon, papaya, mango, pineapple, kiwi, chia seed, flaxseed, like all this stuff. Like that was like, I mean, a bowl of this for breakfast.
Right.
And then I noticed that like when I was eating it, like the sides of my tongue.
Sure.
And my first thought is allergy, right? I'm like, oh, if I developed a allergy after all my years of not.
Right.
And so I had to figure out which item was doing it. And I figured it was the kiwi. Uh-huh. So when I would just have a kiwi on its own, I would get that
little tingle,
prickly, scratchiness, like on the tongue. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. So I stay away from it. It never affected me to the point of like swelling up or anything like that. But now that you bring
it's not an allergy.
Right. Yeah. So you bring up this fact that it's actually the fruit itself has a defense mechanism in it that when, and you're saying animals, or we're animals, a certain gene, which obviously in your saliva, hits this item, it creates this, oh no, I shouldn't have that anymore, so that it doesn't get affected.
Yep. It's more extreme in the animals. You know, they sense it right away, but their palates and their digestive system are completely different than us. They talk about like, what is it, the silverback gorilla, right? And why does it eat mostly vegetation? Well, its gut is completely different than ours. It gets what it needs from all that vegetation. It doesn't need the meat like we do. But yeah, those biodefenses is in a lot of, like a lot of the green vegetables, a lot of produce as far as fruits.
And would these be the ones that are more alkaline versus
acidic? I've never looked at it in that sense. I don't know. I feel like, with the pineapple, the peaches, like pineapple for me can be, well, if it's nice and ripe, it's sweet, which I also think, depending on the growing phase, is when those biodefenses are triggering, right? Because if it's a young fruit, it's going to have a stronger biodefense protect it so it can mature, right? And as it matures and the chemical balance of that product changes, then maybe those biodefenses are a little weakened because now it's meant to be eaten. That's why you see these animals foraging. They don't touch certain things. They know, right, that it's going to hurt them. I wonder if it is more alkaline based.
Because when I did, we're talking about this again as last episode when it comes to, I don't like the word dieting. Food regimens is what I say. Like, this is what I'm doing this month to try to see what my body is accepting.
I love that. Food regimens, yeah.
I looked into Dr. Sebi.
I know the name
here. Yep. And, right there, alkaline and anti-inflammatory. Mm-hmm. So there's his theory about an alkaline versus acidic diet and which fruits and vegetables that you shouldn't be eating.
Right.
And I think he's more, correct me if I'm wrong out there, people, in the comments below. I believe he's more of the all natural from the earth. I don't want to say vegan, but more that than animal protein in his diet. And I was shocked at like certain greens, certain fruits and vegetables that I was like, oh, I might need to stay away from those things.
Right.
Because they're too alkaline or too acidic, because you want to be in that, was it 7?
Yeah.
7 is the
7 or 8 or something. Yeah.
Mid-range there for you. But that's the whole other situation as to what your body, you have to figure out what your body's at.
He talks about the alkaline water. I think I've seen clips of him saying you don't need, like if you have an alkaline based nutrition diet, like, or regimen, you don't need it's not going to give you any extra alkaline. It's not going to help you at all. It's only, alkaline water is good for people that are highly acidic and they need the counterbalance, So he was kind of like.
And his theory is very much coconut water.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
His is absolute coconut water. My blood type, as we talked about last time, I'm not supposed to have. Now, I got to look into it, actually. I'm not supposed to have coconut. I think I'm not supposed to have coconut flesh.
Okay.
Maybe I can have coconut water.
Might
Because
be.
I would
Yep.
drink that. Like when I'm in
Because
Thailand.
it's two different things, even though it's inside the coconut. It's
completely different.
Yep.
And I would have at least one a day
Yeah.
when I'm in Thailand, because theirs are way better than here.
Right from the coconut. Yeah.
The lady you were mentioning, and of course neither one of us knows her name right now, and it's so strange to me. I say this so many times on this show, how much I love the universe and how things just remind me that we're in the right direction of where we're going and what we're going after, because only yesterday did I start seeing in my scrolling this particular woman, who might be the same one you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously was into bodybuilding.
Yeah. I think
Same
it's got to
one.
be the same one.
Long dark hair.
Yep.
And she does a lot of on stage
Yep.
talking. So this one, I think a lot of the information I was seeing, I think she was at a conference for women working out and
Right.
eating.
Right.
And so it was interesting to see what knowledge she was saying. So it's so strangely good to me that you bring her up today.
Yeah.
I just came into contact with her content
Right.
last night.
That's wild.
Yeah. And it was interesting because, again, for myself, with the technology that we now have these days, I tend occasionally to float towards the candy, the not good, the processed stuff on there. But 93% of my time is literally about stuff that I can better myself physically and mentally. That's just facts. She came up on my thing and I dove into the rabbit hole. I must have scrolled. Like, I didn't even go on her page.
Oh,
but
really?
Like, it was like every third swipe
The
up
algorithm picked up. Yep.
that I was watching
Yep.
her videos. And she got me.
Yeah.
Like, I was hooked. I
I saw a couple things from her and I enjoyed. Like, I see this book here, Jordan Peterson, and I love him. Right. I think he's great. I think he's a carnivore, isn't he?
I'm not 100% sure on that. He's just a really good doctor.
I really think he is a carnivore. I think he swears by it. But
Okay.
I like listening to him and all these other people that are coming out, because it's different than what I do and what I need. And it, you're Gen X, right? Being 47, so we're in that same, the way we were raised then versus, we'll go through our 20s and 30s just beating ourselves up, right? Because that's who we are. And now we hit our 40s and we might look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck happened to me? Like, I used to be like,
It took a very short period of time when I was younger, flat stomach, most of my life, 28 to 30, all of a sudden I noticed, okay, I got to pay attention now to what's going on here. And now, holy shit.
Yeah.
If I just sat back and did no working out and just ate whatever I wanted to, I do not eat processed foods anymore.
I try not to.
I do not eat fast food. Absolutely not.
I don't have any fast food.
Hurts me.
Yep.
And in 1 week, I could probably gain 10 or 15 pounds.
Oh, yeah. I think a big part of America versus Europe and stuff is it's not so much the products, it's what's sprayed on them, right? And that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down some other time. But, like, I know over in Italy, I can sit there and indulge on pastas and breads and all that sort of stuff, and I won't gain a pound, right? But here, and I have primarily a no bread diet here. Like, if I have bread, it's once every other week. Like, I think it's a lot of the, stuff that we've sprayed on the products that, like with wheat, people are like, oh, I have a gluten allergy. No, you have an allergy to the chemical that's hardened the germ of the wheat. Now you can't digest it. You go somewhere else where they're not spraying it and it's not hardened, your body digests it, it's no problem. So, I think in America we've gotten comfortable just saying like, oh, it's an allergy. Oh, it's an allergy. And it's really not. It's what's being treated.
I'm going to go one step further and make it a bigger landmass and say North America.
Oh, yeah.
Because my country is no different. It's the exact same. Everyone, I want to say when I was about 25 years of age, all of a sudden everyone was gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
No, you're 100% correct.
Right.
Just had this conversation with two random people I didn't know until after this conversation at the gym.
Right.
About foods and eating. And the two gentlemen one was older than me and one was about my age. But again, 45 to 55 in that area.
Yep.
And I said to them, I only buy flour from Italy.
Mine comes from Italy. In my
Pizza
cabinet.
00
Yep,
flour
that's
is
it.
not from this country at all.
Yep.
I love bread. My stomach does not. I love bread. This right here.
Yeah, exactly.
This right here, and the tongue, the taste buds.
The chew and everything about it is
The
just
body does not hear.
Right.
It just doesn't. It hurts. But it's what we've done to our wheat, where over there in Europe, they've had laws and rules forever that doesn't allow them to do what we do to our food industry here.
Right. I understand it's different climates and different, insects and all sorts of stuff that, plague everybody. I wish we would work with the European agriculture to like bring this together and have a worldwide or start to spread around the world about the products that we're spraying and the way we raise our crops. Because the farmer thing that you brought up last time it's quite true. And I had stumbled on a conspiracy theory and I love them. But they were talking about the UN 2030 agenda, which I had heard of years ago. But by 2030, farmlands are supposed to be almost wiped out. Everything is supposed to be mass grown in these
everything in factories.
Yeah, factories, or chemically made up, which is the whole thing with these what is it, the 3D designed chicken or whatever, like all that stuff. It's like, I am not eating that. And I did hear, and this is, people can jump down my throat on this one too, but like Trader Joe's actually has some of that chicken that they sell that is not, it's grown in a lab and it's sold as chicken versus natural chicken. So
you can write any comment you want down, attack him or just attack the topic. Like this is,
I don't know enough about it. I've only everybody's going to hear different things in the worlds we live in. Being in food, we're going to hear different things than my buddy and what he does for his job, right? Because we're around food different, but it's and our algorithms are different than theirs. But I'm hearing all these little things, and I'm like, what is this 2030 agenda? And it's something. And literally, it's just in the last 2 days this popped up. I'd heard it a long time ago, and I never thought twice about it. But now it's more of the farmlands and all that stuff. And if you look at and I'm pretty sure this is a fact, but the amount of farmland that Bill Gates owns here in America, right? He's bought up farmland for a decade plus now, and he controls a lot of this stuff. So, where is it going? Are we phasing our farmers out?
I hope not.
I hope not too, because that's
his farms. From what I understand, he has a huge contract with McDonald's. And I think we talked about this before, his potatoes and how there's no discoloration. And occasionally you might see one that has black on it, but there's literally, and that's just not natural. Like none of us ever thought about that growing up and eating it every third day.
Right.
How can the potato be perfect every time? It can't be. That is the technology. I'm baffled. This is the first time I'm hearing of basically 3D
genetically modified
chicken.
Yeah.
It's one thing that over the past, let's say 15 years, the GMOs that have been in food that when you look at the standard of people, when you look at basketball players, the average height 15 years ago to now. And that's not because you just happen to have certain people in certain areas are just tall. No, this is because of the food consumption that we've been doing. Technology has been taking over so much. This is a perfect segue to something I wanted to actually talk to you about because you have kids. I hope that this 2030 is not, because the farmers is an integral part of our life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's an absolute necessity. I wish we would take back some land and promote, give tax benefits to people like ranchers and farmers to go back to the way that it was, so we can create a better food system for everybody.
Right.
That would also be cheaper, because if you have more of them, then prices will go down, hopefully. The technology running things and changing things like food, there's a huge thing right now. I see it quite often, the AI robots. Now, I'm going to take this one route real quick. I was 23 or something like that. My best friend at the time was 25. We were living together, and we saw like a documentary on Discovery Channel, and it was the first kind of life-size sex dolls, right? But it was just a rubber, just kind of sat there kind of thing. But now we've gotten to the point.
Well, they look real.
They look real, but it's not just for that. They have AI robots for other things, like the movie iRobot. It's gotten to the point right now where it's already available if you have the money, where you could have a robot in your house. And it's not the iRobot robot where it's just a white
Yeah.
robot looking thing.
It looks
These are
human.
human looking things that are learning how to understand what you're feeling like when you come home, so that the robot can console
Anticipate,
you
yep.
and help you. And
It's the better spouse.
well, okay, so this is literally where I'm going with it. You have 2 kids, 23 and
29.
29. So this is what I'm going to put out to
Yes,
you.
I'm that old, everybody.
I came across this comment on social media. Your children, and if not sooner, your children will be living in a time in which their kids could end up marrying a robot.
Yeah. It's interesting because I remember being a teenager and all the little Sears, market, like all the little robots. We all wanted one, right? And it would do little things. It might bring you something. You try to remote control to pick it up. Now we're at a point where these things are
they're learning.
They're atomic, right? So, they're learning and they look real. And I literally had this discussion a day or two ago with another friend. We were talking about because something had come up. We were hanging out together and we were just kind of like scrolling. We, didn't have much to talk about at the moment. And like, oh, look at this robot out of Japan. It's $150,000 and it looks like a woman. And you can change the hair, the facial, whatever you want it to look like, it can look. And you've seen that in movies over the last 20 years, right? This sort of technology. Now it's there. And I agree. If not our kids, our grandkids are going to be
They'll be
human or robot, right? Which one do I want? Because this one will satisfy me more.
It'll be a situation like, let's take it back, where same-sex marriages weren't allowed.
Right.
Right? Totally normal now.
Right.
As they should be. Right? Just common against everything. It's going to be a bit of a thing, because when it starts happening, there's no laws stating it can or can't.
Right.
So there'll be 2 sides of the situation. No, we can't let that happen. Yes, we can. We might be around to see legislation discuss
absolutely
whether or not it is legal for a human being to marry an AI being.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's not too far down the road. I mean, we might not see it, but yeah, that legislation will come out eventually in the next 100 years, 50 years, whatever. It's quite weird to think about, to be honest with you.
Right now it is.
But we got into the whole thing of like people being lethargic, because this person's also like a fitness person. He's in his 40s, not like you and I, just making sure your body's, so you live like a younger lifestyle, right? You're just, your body's good. And he was talking about like, if I had a robot that was at my house and, I could get my food delivered and it would put it away because it knows where everything goes, and I would come home and it would have dinner ready, and you sit down, right? You're going to do less for yourself because these robots are going to be taking care of everything. So do you become more lethargic, or do you have more time to go do things for yourself because the robots are taking place? Because people have 2 different sets of mentality. Some of us want to go like, oh, I have time. I'm going to go for a 5-mile hike, which I do, a couple times a week when I have a moment in between office work. I'll be like, all right, I got time before my next meeting. I'm going to go for an hour. I'm going to go walk the neighborhoods. And I use a weighted vest. But then there's other people like, oh, I got a couple hours. Yeah. And so where does it lead us? And it's funny because Disney came out with that movie WALL-E a decade ago, whenever it was, and everybody's sitting on these floating chairs and they're all overweight. And, it's like, is that the next 200 years?
Well, that's literally, as you and I know for sure, because we are now of an age where we spent 3 decades or more watching movies and television. They have, whoever they are, slowly progressed us to be okay with certain things.
Absolutely.
That they put it out in the consumption that we have.
Right. We reject it a little bit.
Yeah.
Then they come back and try it again.
And they keep doing it until it becomes the norm.
Because the younger kids don't have their opinions set yet. So they see it, it goes away, then it comes back, and they're more normal with it. It's more
normalizing
acceptable to them, where we're like, absolutely not.
I see the benefit, because for me personally, when I'm not on contract and working and I'm here in town and I have, let's say I get up at 5, so 5:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. because I get into bed at 9. Mm-hmm. So I have all of those hours to be productive. Those are my possible productivity hours. Now, during that time, there are certain tasks as a human that I need to do that take up time. Making food, 100%. If I had a robot in my house that I could program, that by the time I walked in from the gym, my food was ready. I mean, I'm saying this as a chef, right? But not only are they taking my jobs away, but at the same time, it's because we live in a world of convenience.
I was just saying it's a convenience. Yep.
But for people like us, I would be able to do more productivity.
Absolutely.
You know, those 30, because let's be honest, when you cook a dinner, it's not 5-10 minutes if you're cooking natural whole foods.
Yep.
You have to prep the food. You have to cook the food.
Yep.
It takes
It's a half
it
hour
takes
or
time.
more. Yep.
Easy 30 to 45 minutes.
Yep.
3 times a day. Even if it was only 30 minutes, that's an hour and a half. Some people are like, oh, it's an hour and a half. I'm a big believer in not imagine what you can do in a year. I'm a big believer in imagine what you can do in a day.
Yeah.
So if you have 3 30-minute free periods to either go for a quick jog or put them all together, you have another hour and a half to do some studying, to do some reading, to do
But
some...
you have to do it. You know, like that's the thing, right? If for us, that would be beneficial because we want to do those things. If this convenience comes around and people aren't doing those things and they're not bettering themselves, in whether it's reading or exercising or whatever, and they're just becoming more lethargic, then it's you're going to see a division just on that. You know, some people that just want that lifestyle with robots, and some people are using the robots so they can better themselves. You know,
it almost gives a bit more light to why people who have money.
Oh yeah,
And people who don't don't. Now there are people who don't have money that complain about it. You know, they have everything. I don't have this. I don't have that. That's
whatever.
That's, again, that lies on the individual themselves, but they will cost a lot of money to have, because you said right now it's like 100.
It was 150 for this one robot that we were talking about in Japan, and she looked like an iRobot, but she had, I mean, her face was stunning, the hair, the eyes, and it moved. You know, you could tell it was a robot, but the rest of the body was the white with you see the black joints and then the white, like iRobot.
But the face, I think I saw the
face
same
was
one.
Beautiful, yeah. Like, and they were talking about, you can customize it. It can be a blonde, you can have it a little more of this, you can streamline the face, you know, the whole thing, whatever you want, you know.
And they will come down in price, but there's still going to be for a very long time an item that costs the amount of money that you have to be financially
It'll be certain people can have them, yeah. And then people that don't have them, you know, generationally, kids will grow up thinking like, I want to be the one that has a robot. We didn't have one growing up. So they try to, you know, be more successful so they can afford those things.
And those people of wealth who will have multiple robots
doing a lot of things
will have maids and cooks. Not that they don't already, because I work for those people as a private chef.
Yep.
They will have, and so, yeah, kids will grow up only knowing a maid or a house staff as a robot.
Yep. The interesting thing that my buddy and I were talking about was we were talking about specifically the female robots, right? Because to us, a robot is a robot. It's the same strength. It's the same, like everything in there is the same units. But what's the appeal, you know, for us, like a feminine look or whatever? And he brought up the point, like, do you think this is another step in reducing population? Right? Because when you have the ability, he went as far as saying, like, you know, the dance clubs late at night might become more robotic than female, right? The streetwalkers might become more robotic than female because people, you're not going to knock up a robot. But the one thing that this robot did have feminine parts, right? I mean, think about it now, like women already have breast implants. So now it's just, they do have that silicone sort of feel, whatever. But even everything else has been modified so you can like do your thing with this robot and not have to worry about, you know.
Well, and there is a large, the sex industry is quite massive. And there are a lot of, and yes, men and women both go into the stores and buy their toys and experiment. There's a larger percentage of men who feel more comfortable not going to the bars, not talking to a female,
a real person,
and having these dolls, these other. So for them, there's already a population that's so fine with it already that Yeah, population decrease would absolutely be a thing.
Yeah, in the next couple 100 years, like it would become, let's say it's 50-50 robots, humans, right? So the population,
It would almost be
and the robots aren't consuming food or anything else, so you don't need all the like there's just like where's this headed type of thing.
But that's excellent points. It's such a bizarre thing to think that we're having a conversation like this now when we were teenagers 30, 40 years ago, that maybe in a movie, back then. Now it's a topic of interest where companies are manufacturing these already in order to sell them to people to have in their houses. And it's not unlikely that your children or our grandchildren could end up marrying a robot.
Yeah. And at that point in time, that robot won't be the robot that we see now.
Oh my God, no.
They'll be even more lifelike and even more, everything will be there.
They'll be plugged directly into, or if not have just like they want to put the chip in the human.
Right.
These robots will get to the point where they are the internet. They're Siri. You could ask them anything. I need you to go outside and fix the east troughs.
Yeah.
Like they could do anything. I want you to go and build a dog
You could be
house.
at work somewhere and literally tell it what to do and it'll go do that. They used to say, what is it? Art imitates life, right? So whatever life is, the artists out there, the people that create the movies and stuff, they take what's out, like Star Wars, right? But now it's more, what is it?
Life imitates
art, right?
The whole thing is art imitates life, life imitates art.
Yeah, these people are all thinking so far ahead in the future. And then 50 years from now, we're starting to see the stuff. It's kind of funny, like.
Well, another side topic on this is just the unrealistic thought that the non-unrealistic thought that there are aliens. I do this regularly because I'm a people watcher. Like, doesn't matter where I am, I'm observing human nature. And when I think about the fact that like any type of Star Wars or alien type show that we've seen or movie, and you see all these different Klingons and whatever, they all like the way they look different. I'm in the gym looking around at all these humans and I'm just like, we are such fucking aliens. Like there's so many different shapes and sizes and colors. And we have these torsos with these like arms that kind of like it's just weird. And the fact that like most of what we've seen in movies we have also experienced in life.
Absolutely.
There's the horror of life that we see on movies, and there's now the documentaries of the people who really do those horrors.
Yeah, yep.
And then you have aliens, you have AI robots. I mean, we haven't generally all seen aliens.
Not yet.
Right? It hasn't been given to us yet.
Yep.
This is all very, very possible.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try not to stay naive to one side or the other. Like, I believe in my religion. I have a lot of faith, and I have an app on my phone every morning. I start with the 5-minute, thing with that, and I have that. But I'm also not dumb enough to not think that we're
alone.
That the aliens maybe had a part in creating us.
Excellent thought. Yes.
Maybe they were created by a higher divine power, but maybe we're the byproduct of something else. We're not the actual,
it's very possible
product.
That's literally why I have multiple religions, books, Bibles, Torah, all the different aspects to learn from, because it just doesn't make sense to me that like we're just here.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that, is being found, you can't explain it with the technology that they had then.
Right.
And if the technology we have now, right, like it's just, again, where's that gap in time and space?
Yeah.
That's,
I think for me, like the black hole has a lot to do with that, right? We can't get in there and put any equipment in there to get any readings or whatever. But I do think that's some sort of, alternate timeline, or that there's something with the black holes out there. Who knows? Like, we're just, our minds aren't made to be, like, you can't count to infinity, right? No human brain can conceptualize the start of time, right? You just can't. Like, how did something come from nothing? But if there was space and there was nothing there, well, how is space not considered nothing? right? So there's always been something. Always. It didn't.
It's the
Right. So, but the human mind can't comprehend it, right? So, for me,
it's the old age adage: everything is nothing, and nothing is
yeah,
everything.
absolutely.
It's a whole other.
This is the time I'm here. This is when I can do the best for myself, and we always have our bumps in the roads, and everybody goes through different things depending on where they live and what their environment is around them. But
you're literally like, we're not gonna have time today, but you're literally bringing up so many more topic points that we talked about on other episodes more recently.
Okay.
In the past couple months, and another gentleman I'm going to have back on again, Zachariah. We're going to talk about time and space, because I again will mention I have a tattoo on my leg of a clock that has no hands and it's broken, because I don't believe in time as much as that's maybe not supposed to be said. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that someone created this whole 24 hours, and what we have been brainwashed or we've been made to memorize what time is. Doesn't make sense. And then I bring back always to the books I read about, the books I read from Dr. Joe Dispenza, when he talks about like nothing and everything, and you having the ability to collapse what we consider time and space,
right,
and being present, which is what you were just about to kind of get on there. Is literally, this is what we have right now.
Yeah,
this moment that you and I are
can't do anything about the past. Don't worry about the future. The present.
Live in this moment right now and enjoy what it is.
You were given. Yeah. And just the fact that we're only here for a little bit more time of it. They say what men are 75-ish is their, and I'm 2/3 of the way through my life. I got 25 years left, or 22 years left.
I'm planning on 90. That's
well,
I'm pushing for it.
I'd love to go the distance, right? And be healthy and, still be walking around and just be that old guy that's living. But, let's say, 75, 80, right? I got 20, 25 years left in my life.
25 more summers.
And what am I going to see over the next 25? Like, there'll be advancements, but it's when I'm gone. The advancements my kids and grandkids and so on will see is just, it blows my mind. Like, I couldn't even comprehend.
I mean, our parents couldn't comprehend what they were going to see or what they thought we would see.
Yep.
So it's like, I'm good with where we're at now, and I'm enjoying the ride.
Yep.
I'm up for whatever.
I remember my grandmother talking about, because she passed away a few years ago, but she'd probably be just a little over 100 right now. But back in the 20s and 30s, in the 1900s, she used to talk about how many vehicles were on the road, like the old Fords and stuff like that. And obviously it got built up. But when they first came out, it wasn't a thing. And now it's just traffic jam after traffic jam. Like the trains, the buses, like all this stuff. Like, she would have never thought she would see this compared to what it was.
You go for a 20-minute drive and you pass by multiple car dealerships that just has hundreds
just sitting
of
there.
vehicles sitting.
Yep. Just waiting to be sold.
The world is crazy. We're fortunate enough to be in it. We're fortunate enough to enjoy the time that we have, and just being present and appreciate, where we're at.
And the right thing to do is, like we're doing, take care of your health, take care of your mind, take care of the people around you, right? Help them out. Don't force your stuff on anybody else, but support them and, try to guide them just like they're going to do for you, when you need that time. So
big message here for everyone that we talk about, which is just being kind to others.
Right.
Thank you very much once again. Time
Thanks for
flies
having
when
me.
we're chatting. We'll do it again sooner than later.
Absolutely.
Everyone out there, thank you very much for coming back each and every week. We'll see you next Tuesday right here on the Lyfe Choyces podcast. Much love, everybody.
You are now about to witness
The journey that is the Lyfe Choyces podcast.
Yeah!